Welcome to Botcasters, the podcast dedicated to bringing you the latest news, insights, and expert opinions on conversational AI, chatbots, voicebots, and the future of innovation in this field. We are proud to announce that we are working together with the European Chatbot Conference in Edinburgh, and we will be interviewing interesting speakers. We want to provide independent and objective knowledge for our community, share real-world successes and failures, and connect people with the expertise that they need. It has been a great and fun journey so far. A big shout out to all the experts that were on Botcasters and shared their expertise and vision. Be sure to subscribe to the Botcasters podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and follow us on social media. Hope to talk to you at the European Chatbot Conference in Edinburgh. See you soon. Welcome, Birgit Itse. How are you?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening. I'm doing great. How's you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you for being here. At the summit, you are going to talk about creativity in humanizing chatbots. Please first introduce yourself and then explain me what that is.
Well, I'm Birgit Itse, originally from Estonia, but I live in Scotland for shortly over 4 years now. And I'm a highly skilled creative with various expertise. So what I do is I transform messy thoughts into thoughtful messages. And I was invited to do a workshop in that summit because I can bring something that people who've worked maybe years in the area, like developing chatbots and AI tools, might have lost or forgotten. So to use that creativity into creating chatbots and AI services that sound more like a human being would speak to us. And when I asked on LinkedIn from my audience is that I was sharing my experience with recent chatbots and how I didn't get the answer what I wanted and ended up with a human, then every single person said that they would like to speak to a human rather than a chatbot. So that is probably not what the creators of these tools and services are looking for. So how can we turn it around? And I think there is a little bit of creating thinking that will help that, and it will make those conversations between humans and chatbots a bit more, I don't want to use enjoyable, because I don't know if it's ever going to be as humans as we enjoy conversations with a robot, but easier, maybe lighter, resultful, something along the lines of that. And, more people would be okay to use chatbot for their problems to be solved.
That's an interesting thought. I've recorded a lot of podcasts, and one of the discussions we have is should a person talk computer, or should a computer talk human? If you know what I mean. And also, there's a lot of chatbot designers and creators that make a chatbot that can do chit chat and blah 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 blah. But if you're a consumer and you come to the chatbot, you want it just to be functional and get stuff done. If that's the purpose of your visit, and it's a very thin line between I want to have a good conversation and I want to have a functional conversation. These are sometimes contradictory, if you know what I mean. Because if you want to have a functional conversation, you might skip the chit chat and just put some buttons in there to get me to my goal as fast as possible. And what you see a lot of the times in the bad chatbots, or the chatbots that people end up with a person, that it's either a suboptimal mix of these two, and then it's neither. It's either or, but it's neither. Or it's from the perspective of the creator, not from the perspective of the creator, as in the company, not from the perspective of the consumer. And I think that's where the creativity comes in. to be able to put all those ingredients together. And my question is, knowing all this, and I hope you agree with me, how would you approach the process of designing a chatbot using creativity as a tool?
Well, I've never created any chatbot conversation. So, but my insights come from the user's experience. So this is why I see that my knowledge and experience come really handy when creating those, because I'm the consumer, I'm the user, and I don't have that professional experience and expertise of creating them. So I'm not kind of like stuck in that mindset how it needs to be created.
I agree. That's a good thing.
Yes. Also, we can have functional chatbots. What I'm trying to say with humanizing is that often those functional chatbots make me as a user feel stupid. And this is not the feeling that you want to create. And the feeling of being stupid comes because the vocabulary that is used, it is put there with intention that it is very professional, but that means that it is used like a jargon that people don't understand.
So it's an inside-out chatbot, not an outside-in chatbot.
Yes. So what I'm encouraging to do with those creative exercises is to simplify the vocabulary, because simple doesn't mean that it is unprofessional. Simple means that people will understand that because they're looking for help for a reason. They don't know something and they are looking for answers. But if these answers are given with the assumption that they already know these things, this is where the feeling of being stupid comes in. And it is often not about the solution, but the process, how I felt when I was given that solution, or the whole journey of getting into that solution, if it makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And if you look at a lot of the chatbots that are out there now, a lot of them were put out there with the sole purpose, to deflect phone calls and have people take care of business themselves. And what these chatbots actually achieved, they got more phone calls because people got stuck in the process. They were asking for a live agent, wouldn't get one, give me the phone number, not giving it. And that sort of pisses people off. And you get the opposite effect of what you could have achieved if you make a great chatbot, where in 3 steps, I've taken care of business and I get a confirmation, blah, 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 blah. And if then still I want to talk to a person, by the way, here's the number or here's the live chat, no problem. And the funny thing is, if you have access to it and you give easy access to it, you usually don't use it but there's like a backup plan.
Yeah.
And that helps people. So I agree. But what I'm interested in, how does that work in the mind of a person who would be designing a chatbot, and you working your creativity magic in a workshop or with these people? Because I totally understand. I work with applied psychologists in designing conversations, and that's so different than a communication person, because it's different insights that they use. And somehow I have a hunch that you're working with people designing a chatbot will be some sort of similar, because you use different insights of how people's brains work.
Yes, and also how words work for people.
How words work.
Yes. So when you said that you've talked to people from psychology and communication, so I think I'm blending those two things also with the mindset work. So I have thinking exercises that the participants can are invited to think along, and we've got also writing exercises because what writing does with our brain, it makes us better thinkers. It will help you put down your ideas in a very clear form, because otherwise they're just ideas in your head. But if you write them down with a certain writing technique that I'm teaching there as well, then you can literally face your own thoughts, and it will clarify whatever you're thinking. And when you understand what you're thinking, then it's easier to explain it to others, and it is easier to create something that is understandable for others. I'd just like to add a quote by Albert Einstein that if you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you haven't understood it yourself.
Oh, that is totally true. But there's something I'm wondering. Is it also about challenging yourself and your own thoughts in that process?
Challenging your own thoughts in that process, but also understanding that universal words have individual meanings. So the chatbot conversation is using words. So what are these words that might cause miscommunication, because you don't have that human side of, like we are speaking now, we've got smiles, we've got hand movements going on. You don't have that in that chatbot conversation. So how to, keep that functionality, and simplify that, but also be as clear as possible and leave as little space for misinterpretations as possible.
That sounds also a bit like asking the customer to, or the person in the chatbot to, like a check question if they actually understood what you just said, or giving them the opening in the conversation, like, do you need more explanation? Is it clear? And taking away hurdles for to be ashamed for, I do not understand, please help me. We worked with, in one chatbot, we worked with, if people wanted more information or a better understanding of something technical the chatbot was about, gave them the option to watch like a tutorial, not a tutorial, explanatory video, short video, 1 minute, in the chatbot. It's like, oh, you want to see it? Yes. Okay, here it is. Watch it, and then we'll go on. And the interesting part is when people do that, the conversation gets better because they have more knowledge. And sometimes you need to be, like for a very specialized insurance, you have to make sure they have the knowledge and take an informed decision. There's no other way. Sometimes it is technical. Also, when you take a mortgage, it is technical and there's no other way.
I agree, and the recent rise of those large language models have actually given people the experience to learn how to communicate with AI better, and I think it's somewhat like because I've noticed it myself. You really need to be precise and clear in your questions. Otherwise, it's going to give you, that kind of generic stuff as an answer as well. So it is not just, creating those answers for chatbots, but it is also maybe allowing and teaching people how to ask questions, coming from that point of view, that which answers that chatbot is able to give and what should be the questions people will ask.
You're bringing up something really interesting. This is all true with LLMs, garbage in, garbage out, because that's basically what you're saying. But there's another point. You're actually saying something that's a universal truth about people communicating. Why do people get into fights? Miscommunication. Sometimes they ask the wrong questions or at the wrong moment. Or people think they understand the question and are too fearful to ask, could you explain what you're asking? Because I have no clue. And then they start answering and it's like, okay, I don't know what the answer has to do with the question. So the rule you apply to a chatbot is actually goes for people as well,
Yeah,
and maybe
but
even more so.
it is so, but it is easier between people because you have those non-verbal communication things as well. But with chatbots, you don't have them. And if, you know, chatbot knows the questions and knows the answer, but a human being doesn't. And if they don't know which questions they should ask, again, we're getting back to the thing that it makes us feel stupid because we don't know what we don't know and we're looking for answers. And if we're looking for answers and there are wrong questions to ask, then we don't get that and we're getting even more frustrated. Most people are
Especially,
coming to
sorry, go on.
most people are coming to the chat box because they have an issue, and most likely they're already frustrated because they
And then it
haven't
tells you,
found.
"I don't understand you. Please
Yes,
try another. Try it in another way."
yeah,
And then they're out of words.
and then some people might have already looked for answers on the website or the help page or frequently asked questions, and they haven't found them, and they finally found the chatbot. Then they're asking, and it said like, so it is just the consumer's journey to that point. It needs a lot of self-control to stay calm, and when you expect it to know the right questions, then it's like, oh my God, why is it like that? Why have we lost that human communication? Because
This is so funny you're saying this, because you realize that you're making a statement, a positive statement, by the way, for the people with expertise. For chatbots, they shouldn't replace those people. These people are actually making the chatbots better because they have the knowledge. And if you fire these people as a company, your customer service people or whatever they do, um, you're setting yourself up for failure, because the people with the knowledge how to handle and deal and help these customers are gone, and that's knowledge you cannot put into the chatbot, and it will fail. Um, and a lot of the chatbot projects are with the purpose of saving labor,
yeah,
or making the operation cheaper, and I think that's, at least at the beginning, it's the wrong intention, because it doesn't work that way.
yeah,
Can I
and
ask you one more question? Sorry, go on.
yeah, I'll just add one sentence. I really, really encourage, if you do have those people still on board who are working with customer service, who are taking over those conversations that are not, the problems that are not solved with chatbots, talk to those people. From those conversations, you will get the questions people ask. You will get the way your customers are communicating. And it's
Exactly.
your choice whether you educate your customers to talk to chatbots in a certain way, or you adapt your chatbots to a way that your customers are speaking.
That's a beautiful statement. I got one last question. Are you using neurolinguistic programming in the way you approach things? Because you said it's about words, and in the concept of neurolinguistic programming, it's words that resonate in a certain way in people's head. If you change one word in a sentence, or the position, that might change the whole connotation in someone's head. Are you using that or not?
No. I'm my curiosity around words and my passion and my research around it comes from the background, me being bilingual,
Okay.
and understanding that you can't translate everything. And with certain words, we have images in our mind. Only 3% of people don't have images in their mind with certain words. And I've read books about it, writing a book about it myself. So, and just observing those communication as those conversations where people are using words with the expectations or assumptions that another person understands it the same way, but they don't. Just to bring you an example, when I moved to Scotland, then I had to find those images to words that are in English, in both languages. But as I said, you can't translate everything. And words, compassion, In Estonian, there is the one word for compassion and condolences. So when someone said compassion, then the image I had in my mind was my grandparents' funeral. And a lot of people, like, there's just not only native speakers who are using chatbots. So again, the idea of simplifying, using words that, might cause confusion, there's just, that understanding or acknowledging that, oh, maybe that is the word that people don't understand, because in some languages, some words even don't exist. What you can do.
That's an important takeaway. If you one final message to the visitors or potential visitors of the summit in March, what would you tell them? What will be your takeaway or giveaway, actually?
I'd expand the last thing that I said, that be curious about words, and when you come to the workshop, I'll help you become more curious around this topic, and you'll get the experience how to explore this topic, how to bring that creativity, that awareness into those conversations. There is no one right way to do that, but finding your ways that fit with your customers, fit with your business goals, the things that you want to do. So don't expect me to give you one right way to do things. No, there will be a lot of thought-provoking questions and exercises, and with those, I'm hoping to give you like a direction where to go.
Thank you very much, and I hope that the visitors of your workshop will go back home, especially after the whole summit, of course, but go back home and will be able to make better and advise on better chatbots and better customer experiences, and that people will not need a live agent to solve their things. And if they do, I hope the live agent is and will be available, as you suggested, for the great customer experience. Birgit, thank you very much, and we see you at the summit.
Thank you for having me, and see you on the summit.